The iPhone 8 has been leaked again in what's basically the biggest iPhone 8 leak yet. So here's the first hands-on video showing the iPhone 8 in hand. Well, this is not actually the final version of the iPhone 8, but something to give you a better idea of what a 2017 iPhone will look like. So yeah, last week was actually the biggest week when it comes to the iPhone 8 leaks. You even got to see a couple of leaked iPhone 8 schematics, a couple of photos showing multiple iPhone 8 molds, iPhone 8 case leaks, and so much more. So welcome back to my Leaks and Rumors series. I'm Daniel, and here's every single thing you need to know about all those iPhone 8 leaks from the past week. So grab some popcorn and yeah, enjoy. So there are a couple of leaks that I want to talk about. The first one is obviously the biggest one of all, and that's the hands-on video leak. So this was posted by Benjamin Gaskin earlier this week, and this is the first hands-on video of the upcoming iPhone 8. Now, just to make things clear, this is not the iPhone 8. So even though a lot of people are saying that this is the iPhone 8, it's not the iPhone 8. So this is a dummy unit of the iPhone 8, and yeah, Benjamin Gaskin has even confirmed this himself. Not the iPhone 8, but a dummy unit of the iPhone 8, probably the same one that we've seen a while ago. Okay, so what's a dummy unit? Well, a dummy unit is usually a non-functional device that's made by accessory makers and case makers according to the actual schematics of the device. So they make these dummy units because they give them a better look at the final product. And it's also because with a dummy unit, it's much easier to test out pre-production cases. So even though this is not the iPhone 8, not even an iPhone 8 early prototype, it still gives us a pretty good idea of how the iPhone 8 will look like. Now I want to mention a few interesting things about its dummy unit. First off, you can probably see that yes, that bezel-less design is confirmed once again. So there's no home button on the front, just a really nice and clean looking OLED display, because yes, the iPhone 8 is finally switching to OLED. Now the second thing that you probably noticed is that stainless steel border, and this is basically the exact same one that we've seen in the previous dummy unit leaks. I think this is exactly the same dummy unit, but the final version of the iPhone 8 is not going to look like that. So it's not going to have silver stainless steel edges. Instead, it's going to be space black stainless steel edges. So basically the exact same color that we have on the space black Apple Watch. So the stainless steel edition of the Apple Watch, this one simply looks amazing, and the iPhone 8 is also going to come with very similar borders to the space black Apple Watch. So yeah, it's going to be a really smooth transition between the OLED display, the border, and the back of the phone. It's going to look like a single sheet of glass. Actually pretty similar to how the jet black iPhone 7 already looks, because the back of the phone is going to be made out of glass. So as you can see in this dummy unit, we have glass on the back. The dual camera module is obviously still there, but it's actually vertical on the iPhone 8. Now we've seen this vertical dual camera module reported before, even back in October when the iPhone 7s was rumored to come with that vertical dual camera module. Apparently that's actually the iPhone 8. Functionality wise, it doesn't actually matter if the camera is vertical or horizontal, because you can simply flip the image in software, so it doesn't really matter if it's vertical or horizontal. And most likely they change the orientation because the internal components also have to be redesigned for the iPhone 8. And also in this dummy unit, you can see that we no longer have a fingerprint reader on the back like we've seen on the first leaked schematics. So actually more and more sources are saying that Apple will not manufacture an iPhone 8 with a fingerprint reader on the back like previously reported. Instead it's going to be either embedded into the display or embedded into the power button like we have on phones such as the Sony Xperia XZ Premium or the Z5 Premium and so on. And actually if you take a look at the power button, you can see that it's much longer and also a tiny bit thicker than the one on previous iPhone models. So there we go, the dummy unit of the iPhone 8 gives us a pretty good look at how the iPhone 8 is going to look like. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about this design so far? Next up, we actually had some leaked schematics of the iPhone 8. So these were also posted by Benjamin Gaskin, and this is an alleged iPhone 8 schematic coming from sources in China apparently. And here you can see a couple of pretty interesting things. So the first one is the display size. It's 5.7 inches instead of 5.8, which is a bit weird, but yeah, as you can see, it's not actually measured from the actual corners, so it's most likely going to be 5.8 inches. Now the vertical camera module on the back, it does have 3 cutouts, one of them being the flash. I'm guessing that the one on the bottom is the flash. Again, no fingerprint reader on the back, and also you can also see that large home button we've seen in the dummy unit. So it's getting more and more likely that the Touch ID sensor will actually be included into the power button. Having the Touch ID included into the front panel, into the display assembly, that would obviously be the best option. But even if it's on the power button, I think it's a pretty good option, much better than having it on the back. What do you guys think? You know, fingerprint reader on the back, on the front, or on the power button, or like we've seen in some previous leaks, Touch ID removed completely, even though I don't see this happening. I don't see Apple removing Touch ID, especially since they worked so hard on the second generation and promoting Touch ID in so many ads. So I don't think that Apple is going to give up Touch ID in exchange for an iris scanner, which, by the way, is possibly not coming anymore to the iPhone 8. I'll talk about this in a few minutes. Now, this is not the only alleged iPhone 8 schematic. We've actually had a couple of more schematics in the past, and yeah, pretty much all of them show a couple of similarities. So the same design. Some of them did show that fingerprint reader on the back, but not all of them. But most of them showed that long power button on the side. And then also in the schematic, you can see that the iPhone 8 is thicker, 7.55mm thick, versus the iPhone 7 Plus, which was 7.3mm thick. But honestly, I'm okay with that. I don't really care if the phone is a tiny bit thicker as long as the battery is improved. And as we've seen in quite a few reports, the iPhone 8 is getting an improved battery. We don't exactly know what the size of the battery is going to be yet, but it is going to be a tiny bit larger than the one on the iPhone 7 Plus. Next up, we also had a couple of leaked images of some iPhone 8 molds. So these are most likely the molds for the dummy units that we've seen before, but again, these actually give you a pretty good idea of the actual size of the iPhone 8. So as you can see, the iPhone 8 with a 5.8 inches display is actually much smaller than even the iPhone 7 Plus, which comes with a smaller display, a 5.5 inch display. And if you take a look at this image, the iPhone 8 is almost the same size as the 4.7 inches iPhone 7. But yeah, it comes with a massive 5.8 inch display versus 4.7, which is really, really impressive. All these mold sizes are pretty much identical to all the previous reports that we've seen from Takara and KGI regarding the size of the iPhone 8. And in the end, the main issue with the iPhone 7 Plus is actually the size of the phone. The bezels on the iPhone 7 Plus and the 6S Plus and the 6 Plus are simply huge. I mean, just take a look at this, iPhone 7 Plus versus Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, 6.2 inches on the S8 Plus versus 5.5 inches, and both phones are pretty much the same size actually. The S8 Plus is just a tiny bit taller, but in the hand, the S8 Plus actually feels smaller than the iPhone 7 Plus since the S8 Plus is not as wide as the 7 Plus. Now, probably the only issue with the iPhone 8 size is the fact that you won't be able to choose from multiple versions. So the iPhone 8 is only going to come with the 5.8 inches version. There's no 6.2 inches version like you have on the S8 Plus. So people who want the same form factor as the iPhone 7 Plus, but just a larger display, are most likely going to pick something like an S8 Plus, which comes with a much larger 6.2 inches display. Is the iPhone 8's display size going to be an issue for you, or do you simply think that it's the perfect size now that it's smaller, coming from something like an iPhone 7 Plus or an iPhone 6S Plus? What do you guys think? Now moving on to the case leaks. Yes, we even had some iPhone 8 case leaks. So there we go, a couple of case leaks for the iPhone 8. Now, these are not the actual cases that will go on sale in September. However, these are actually cases made according to schematics that we've seen before. So these were made just to give you a better idea of how cases on the iPhone 8 will look like and how cases would actually fit. And again, as you can see, there's a massive size difference between the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 7 Plus. The iPhone 8 is just a tiny bit taller than the 4.7 inches iPhone 7. Next up, we had something pretty interesting and funny. So the iPhone 8 isn't even out yet, and we already have some iPhone 8 clones, some Chinese iPhone 8 clones. So there we go, these are some iPhone 8 clones coming from China. These were posted on Weibo, and yeah, these are as fake as you can get. So these are not even working clones, basically models made by some companies, just to give you a better idea of how the iPhone 8 is going to look like. Now, the iPhone 8 is not going to look like this. It's going to be similar to these leaked clones, but not exactly like those. That's because of the border. It's not going to be aluminum, it's going to be stainless steel, so much shinier and really similar to that jet black iPhone 7. And even to mention a Touch ID sensor on the back, it's most likely not going to be there. And also the white model, the iPhone 8 is not going to come with a white font. It's So yeah, the bezels won't be as visible as in these Chinese clones. And then we also had a pretty interesting iPhone 8 leak. So this was posted on Weibo again, and this is a front-facing panel, a presumed iPhone 8 front-facing panel showing the sensors on the top. Funny how the reflection has been removed to prevent identifying the person who took the photo, or even the place where the photo was taken. But yeah, here we can see the proximity sensor, the light sensor, and also 2 front-facing cameras. Yeah, I talked about this a while ago. So basically Apple does have a few patents on 3D imaging and AR. So they actually bought a few companies such as PrimeSense that specialize in 3D object recognition and AR, but the front-facing camera will also work as a depth sensor. So basically you will be able to, 1, detect depth when you take photos. It will know the distance between the camera and an object, so you will be able to do things such as the portrait mode that you have on the back-facing camera, for example. You would be able to blur the background and get this really nice looking bokeh effect. Currently on the iPhone 7 Plus you can only do that with a back-facing camera, so if you want to take a photo of yourself, there's no actual way to do that because you even have to be at a certain distance from you, from the subject and the camera, if you want to take that portrait mode. So 3D scanning, AR functionality, and also that portrait mode with that effect, that background blur effect, and front-facing camera. Pretty excited for that. And there's a new report coming from Korea Economic Daily that says that LG has actually partnered with Apple to produce that front-facing camera modules, that 3D imaging. Apparently LG will be soon opening a new production facility dedicated just to those 3D camera modules. So yeah, there you go. These were the latest leaks on the iPhone 8. Now, in case you've missed my previous video on the iPhone 8, in that one I actually talked about all the specs of the iPhone 8. The price and the release date, and even some benchmarks. So if you want to check that out, the link for that is in the description. It's pretty exciting. But yeah, if you want to see more Leaks and Rumors episodes